A big spring training could be all that it takes to put Evan White back on track. Now, we all know Evan White really hasn't panned out for the Seattle Mariners and what we wanted out of him. Back in 2019, the Mariners signed him to a 6-year, $24 million contract, which at the time seemed like a pretty team-friendly contract deal for a guy that was a highly touted prospect for the Seattle Mariners. He was going to be the first baseman for the future. Now, obviously, injuries and subpar performances at the plate have kind of set him back, and really he lost the job to Ty France at first base. But a big spring training and a little bit of tweaking to Evan White's abilities here could go a long way for him sticking with his ball club. Evan White, last year he was rehabbing for most of the year, and then when he got to AAA, he just really wasn't doing that well. Evan White, we know he's been a great defender in the field. He won a Gold Glove his rookie year, and that's kind of what we're banking on for him to do again, is be able to give Ty France a day off at first base if Evan White is on the Major League club. Obviously, we've got guys like Tommy La Stella and Colin Moran also competing for that spot. But something that's being added to Evan White's repertoire is that he has been working out with the outfielders. There's a picture on Twitter of him working with the outfielders. It's no guarantee that he's going to be seeing a lot of outfield work. However, oftentimes first baseman, corner infielder guys, they could go play the outfield pretty decently. It's not going to be their most natural spot, but it's better than them going playing shortstop. Evan White, he's a defensive wizard at first. I would not be surprised to see him succeed in the outfield as well. Obviously, it's just going to be like a spot start kind of situation, maybe a platoon situation as well if it comes down to it. But if he has that positional flexibility, it's going to go a long way in making him all that more valuable for the Major League club. Now, this isn't something that Evan White necessarily has to figure out right now. Yes, he has the entirety of spring to do so, but again, if he starts out the year in AAA, makes some starts out there in the corner outfield spots, also at first base, I could definitely see that going a long way in helping him develop into a more complete baseball player. And now the other part to Evan White's game that we really aren't sold on is his ability at the plate. In his Major League career, he has not hit above 200. Has been very, very underwhelming at the plate. He's shown moments of pop, but never really saw a ton of success. And that's kind of where Ty France took over. Yes, Ty France has been great defensively over at first base, but we already had that. What we were missing was the offensive part. Ty France has put up great offensive numbers over there at first base as well. So Ty, he's got that spot locked down, aside from, maybe 15 to 20 games of the regular season. However, the Mariners don't really have a good backup, and Tommy La Stella is not a shoo-in to be that guy because he's coming off injuries as well. Same thing with Colin Moran. So there's a spot on this team for Evan White should he figure out how to hit a little bit better. And Jerry Dipoto has gone on record saying that Evan White is the healthiest he's ever been. Now, this is not guarantee that he's going to be better at the plate. However, with healthy legs, a healthy upper body, everything else in between, you can't help but think that that level of health will go a long way in helping him find his place at the plate. I'm sure most of you guys have seen all the stuff circulating on Twitter about Mariner spring training and everything like that. It's a bunch of fun seeing all the videos of the bullpens, batting practice, live BP sessions, everything else in between. It's great to see the Mariners back in action. Make sure to go follow us over there on Twitter at Mojo Mariner. You'll see us replying to a bunch of different tweets. And you can be like our homie Aaron, who's been a community member for a long time, replied to our tweet earlier today, kind of, spawning this entire video idea, essentially. So shout out to you, Aaron, by the way. But one thing that we noticed today was Evan White hammering this ball off of Emerson Hancock. Emerson Hancock, you guys know he was the highest ranked pitching prospect for the Mariners last year. He's going to be the second highest likely this year behind Bryce Miller. Emerson Hancock is no slouch up there on the mound. And Evan White took this changeup from him deep center field off the batter's eye on the practice field. And that's a changeup, keep in mind. He's got to put a lot of extra oomph into his swing to make sure it gets all the way out there. He's not beating him with his velocity there, so he's got to add all that extra power. And Evan White, it was a healthy looking swing. He's got that swagger walking away from that swing as well, knowing that he got that ball, he got a hold of it. And maybe even finding that rhythm, having that success in practice could go a long way in building up the confidence, and it could translate to regular season games. Obviously, we need to see him in action during spring training. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and make a big impact to this ball club should he make the Major League roster. Again, I think adding the positional flexibility of him being a potential fourth outfielder, a fill-in outfielder, if you will, if a guy needs a day off or there are injuries that happen. So sad to see Taylor Trammell being out 7 to 8 weeks. And then having more success at the plate, we're not expecting much, right? He's a career like 160 hitter. So we just want him to take that next step, whatever it may be. We've got him through 2025, or I think 2026 potentially. 6-year, $24 million contract he signed back in 2019. But we just don't want that contract to be wasted. And He's only 26. He's still got a little bit of time, but this next month is going to be integral to Evan White's success and tenure with the Seattle Mariners. So what do you guys think? Do you believe that Evan White has a chance at making the Major League Ball Club here? Do you think these changes will be enough for him to do that? Along with the changes Evan White has been making, we've got 2 videos on the screen right now of 2 starting pitchers for the Seattle Mariners, adding in some new pitches to their repertoire. Make sure you guys go check out those if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching this one, and go Mariners.